Okay, well, we will start from introductions again and see how we go. Cool. Thank you all for being so patient with us. Technology was not on our side, and neither was load shedding for those of you who are in South Africa and subject to similar things. My name is Joanne. I am in the admissions team. So if you've applied already or are going to apply in the near future, you will pass by my desk at some point. With me on the call is Andile and Gabe. They are head teachers for our data science and data engineering programs. We're going to run through some very basic things quite quickly and let us see how far we get with the time we have left. All right. So Explore's philosophy is that we teach skills that are relevant, that are informed by the latest trends and industry best practices, and we work as part of a greater community of data professionals that bring valuable and relevant skills to all of you. So our goal is to make sure that when you leave our academy, you leave us with real-world exposure, practical knowledge, and amazing problem-solving skills. Because problem-solving is at the heart of many, if not all, data professions, right? At the moment, we offer programs in data science and data engineering, and we offer these as both full-time and part-time offerings. What the differences are between data science and data engineering, I will leave to Gabe and Andile. But to give you a quick rundown of the difference between part-time and full-time programs, so we'll start with part-time. That offering requires approximately 15 hours per week. And we say approximately because it really depends on you, your skill levels, what your background is, your level of technical ability, and all of that. So assuming you know where you stand, you can make a pretty educated guess on how long you'd need, thinking about 15 hours as a baseline. The part-time program is designed for people who either work full-time and are looking to upskill or reskill, who have other significant commitments and only have a portion of time every day to dedicate to their studies. And that's the kind of person that we aim the part-time program to. You receive support via a Q&A platform, and also via webinars that happen once a week or once in 2 weeks, depending on the nature of the module and what you're covering and how intense it is. Cool. So our full-time programs are slightly different. Those require about 50 hours a week. And I know it sounds really intense, but I promise you that is the truth. I recommend using 50 hours as your baseline. And our full-time programs are structured quite differently. So while both part-time and full-time programs are delivered completely remotely, so you don't come into a campus at all, the full-time program has a lot more contact with humans. So you still learn through the same learning management system. The content is presented in very much the same way, but you have the benefit of, at the beginning of the course, you're assigned a pod, and that is a group of your peers that's facilitated by one of our staff. And that becomes a discussion group and the group that you get to know really well and that supports you and you support them. And there's lots of learning that happens between all of you. As you go through the full-time course, there are also team projects that you need to complete at a later stage. And so once you're in those teams, you'll be assigned a mentor, and have regular meetings with them and check-ins with them. And those are the key differences. Aside from that, we have something called a Thrive program. And what that is a program designed to support holistic learning. So it covers a broad development range through various topics. And this is designed to stimulate thought, reflection, and action. So as part of the Thrive program, you develop soft skills and professional skills that support you in your technical journey. So you learn about yourself and how you work as an individual and who you are. You learn about interacting with others, working together toward a common goal. And you also learn about integrating into ecosystems. So using resources, building relationships, and understanding how culture factors into the workplace and things like that. We get amazing feedback about our Thrive program because it's something you don't really think about, right? We try and give you a well-balanced learning experience so that you are able to move on to the next phase of your life as someone who's been well-equipped. Something key here is that for the part-time program, the Thrive content is available to you, but workshops and working groups only happen for the full-time program. This is for a couple of different reasons, the main ones being people on the part-time program don't really have the time. And also on the full-time program, our demographic is younger. It's people who've not entered the workforce before. And so it is more geared toward that group of people who are entering the workforce for the first time. Lastly, we have a few different funding models. The first is that you get to pay for yourself if you're able to do so. You can pay upfront, monthly, or via a loan if you are a South African citizen. This doesn't require any technical assessment because your success is in your hands. So ultimately, you are responsible for your own outcomes. The second funding model is the scholarship. So this is only applicable to full-time programs, and this is open to unemployed South African citizens between the ages of 18 and 34. This structure is very intentional because these are built around learnerships, and there are a few regulations and requirements that need to be met for the scholarships to happen. So if you have more questions about that, you're welcome to pop them into the chat or leave us an email at a later stage. The last is the Accelerator ISA, and that is also only available on a full-time basis. This is open to applicants from all over Africa. And like the scholarship, we do require aptitude tests and interviews to be completed. But due to its international nature, the similar scholarship requirements do not apply. So key differences here is that the ISA is not CETA accredited, again, because it is open to a broader audience, but you are getting the same content, the same kind of support, and the same peer group. All right. Cool. I am going to hand over to Gabe. I think you're going first. Cool. Gabe is going to tell us a little bit more about the data science program, and we can pepper him with questions about full-time learning if we have some time.
Right, thanks, Joe, and howdy, everyone. Hope you guys are doing good. So data science is such a crazy buzzword, right? Especially towards 2010s and 2020s. But I'm going to share my screen and present a couple of slides that might help with a visual aspect to explain things better. All right, cool. Can you see that, Joe? All good?
Yes, I can.
Amazing. All right. So let's talk about what the data science course is all about, right? So let's move from there. First of all, before we talk about the course itself, let's talk about a quick overview of what data science is. And basically, a quick definition is data science is an interdisciplinary field that combines statistics, computer science, domain-specific knowledge to extract insights and knowledge from data. Now, I always say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So let's look at that from a visual point of view. So now you are sort of combining different domains, different fields, different expertise to make this field called data science. We talk about maths and statistics. We talk about computer science, so very coding heavy, and as well your business domain knowledge, right? So one thing you need to understand is there needs to be some sort of passion in maths and statistics, as well as coding, in order to really be gathered in this program. And also adding to that is when we talk about domain business knowledge, this data science field can virtually be applied to any field. We're talking engineering, finance, medicine, insurance, you name it. So really, really a vast field and quite a lot of opportunities out there to use within your own field as well, if you're coming from a different field. Cool. Let's move on. So let's talk about some opportunities from this course, right? We start off with this can potentially close gaps in your analytical skills and knowledge within the course. So if you're coming from some sort of data science experience from before, this course can potentially close those gaps and you gain those expertise further. Now we talk about also enhancing your data science toolkit and boost your career in marketing, sales, finance, operations, and actually so much more. And that's why this is such a lucrative field, right? You can use data and programming to increase efficiencies and identify new opportunities within your organization. So if you are working for a company, if you'd like to do this part-time, you can potentially bring you insights with this new skill you have developed. So really cool. As well, you can explore the range of possibilities for a career in tech with this technical course. So if you'd like a career change or coming straight from matric or grade 12, this is also an opportunity for you to venture into a new career. As well, we talk about upskilling rapidly and expand your data science knowledge and abilities with this comprehensive course. So all these opportunities you can garner from doing this course at ExploreAI. All right, let's dive into what the course content was all about. So first of all, we talk about the fundamentals phase or the foundation. That starts off with Explore 101, right? From there, we move to your data visualization. Explore 101 is all about defining or knowing how to define your problem statement before you tackle any solution-based material. Your data visualization is all about learning your BI skills, Power BI, dashboarding, etc. Thereafter, we go into some Python, right? This is a very, very critical sprint or module for your machine learning phase. So yeah, that is about a 6-week course that we do. And then we go into SQL, and that's all about managing databases. So that's SQL or structured query language. Cool. All right. Then after the fundamentals phase, we go on over into machine learning. So when we talk about machine learning, we start off with. So right after your SQL or structured query language sprint or module, we go into advanced regression, right? So now when we say advanced regression, think of predicting maybe the stock market prices using machine learning. That is what advanced regression can do, right? After advanced regression, we go over to NLP and advanced classification. When we talk about NLP, we talk about natural language processing, which is actually a feature of ChatGPT, if you're aware of that tool. But yeah, this is what the sprint is about. And more or less, where this can be applied in the real world is disease diagnosis. So if you want to classify patients into different disease categories or predict the likelihood of a particular disease. So we talk cancer, heart disease, diabetes. So very heavily orientated within the medicine field. Next, we have unsupervised learning, right? This is the final sprint or module of the course. And think about your movie recommendation systems such as Netflix. This is where this can be applied to. All right, cool. So all very fun, really exciting and amazing things that you do. Also worth mentioning within the machine learning phase is when you start working in teams, and we sort of try and mimic a work simulated environment, just to gain that practical experience and get your job ready for the real world. Cool. Next, we go above and beyond just the technical content. First thing is, as we see here, your work simulates an environment, as I mentioned. So you improve your leadership and team working abilities by collaborating on simulated work projects with others. So what this looks like is it's about teams of 5 to 7 individuals. You have the opportunity of taking on the position of team lead and leading your team to successfully deliver this project. So that is pretty interesting. And next we have Thrive. So as Joe mentioned, this particular component is about personal development and career development, a curriculum that offers job search, interview prep, portfolio development, cover letter crafting, and actually so much more. So yeah, really developing your soft skills, personal development, career skills, that aspect. The last one is job search framework. So we actually have a very specially curated job search framework that has helped countless of graduates get hired as well. So right after the course, you go through actually a whole process to get your job ready and also join our network of job prospects out there. Okay, so just in final, I'm going to leave you with this quote, which says, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." So from my side, I joined the course in July of 2021. I believed in my future and the beauty of my dreams, and here I am today, a head teacher at the academy. So this can be you as well going forward. So from my side, highly encourage. This course for myself has been absolutely life-changing. And yeah, that is more or less it from me. I am gonna hand over to Andile.
Yeah, you're good to go.
There we go. Cool. Great. So we'll try this again. So I'm an alumni of ExploreAI. Interestingly enough, I was doing the data science course and I absolutely loved it. But there was more that I wanted, right? So I am going to be speaking primarily around data engineering. Now, what data engineering is the skill and the practice around um, being a go-between between the data engineer, between the data scientists, the database administrators, as well as the data analysts. And in this data analytics team, The data engineer is primarily tasked with ensuring that the data goes from one point to all of those different points where it is required. Now, that requires for you to be multi-skilled in terms of your coding practice. It also requires for you to be able to deliver a very high quality product and deliver on time. Now, how do we get you to be that? We provide you with skills, techniques, tools um, that are centered around open source software. And we try our best to ensure that you are ready for the real working world. How that happens is we we put you through a trial by fire. There's no other way to put it. We um, give you a series of very challenging tasks, but none that is too challenging that you will not be able to achieve it, right? And we give you skills, and we give you those skills by putting you frontline. We'll give you coding practice. We will give you exposure to all of the different tools, such as Kafka, such as um, Airflow. Most of these things you might not know right now, but by the end of the course, you will be very comfortable with. And what we then expect of you is to be able to learn, be able to take in, and be unafraid to try. One of our values as Explore is, try stuff, right? Break stuff. Be willing and be brave enough to go out there and do things. So that is what we will then challenge you to do within data engineering, where you will then be forced to work with data in various different states, forms, and much differently towards the data science guys. We live in the data. In fact, we wake up and we see ones and zeros, and we're like, there's a normal morning. And we go to bed at night on top of our keyboards, and we're like, where's the data? Um, and that is one of the things that should be a driving force. If you have a process driven mind, if you think about things in terms of systems, then this is the best place to actually then be studying this, right? And why explore? Well, like I said, we'll give you a trial by fire, and pretty similar to how Gabe was explaining, we have the learning phase. And then shortly after the learning phase, we then take you into a practical implementation phase, which is an internship. All right. And yeah, the internship is even more of a trial by fire than the learning phase. But all of this is geared to give you the real world experience. And the idea is to help you build a portfolio of work that speaks to the very technical and very necessary skills that are required for being a data engineer. I would also like to mention briefly before I leave is that um, data science is the buzzword. There is a shortage of data engineers right now. And if you join the data engineering field, you will be joining one of the more bespoke skills because it is very, very technical, and it is based around your technical ability as well as your ability to think in systems and processes and make that happen. All right. So, yeah, if nobody becomes a data engineer, I don't know who's going to be giving the data scientists any data. And that's just fact. Cool. I think that's it from my end. If you do have questions, I guess, right? This is the stage where we now take it.
Yeah.
Yay.
This is the time to ask questions if you haven't already. Andile, I would really appreciate if you could pop that description of data engineering thinking in the chat for people to refer back to, processes and systems and such. Yeah, I think a lot of us underestimate the technical nature of data engineering, but I can agree with Andila's assessment that if there are no data engineers, then data scientists would not be able to get data from anywhere. Unfortunately, we cannot do it all. Cool. There's a question around what opportunities for experience we offer. So I think both Gabe and Andila spoke to this briefly, but in our full-time program, there is the opportunity to engage in a project towards the end of the program. And this is generally in groups, it's generally supervised, and there are some differences between the sponsors and between the accelerator program as well. But ultimately, for the last 2 to 3 months of the full-time program, you get some practical experience doing a project, usually end to end. So usually from the beginning all the way through to having a proof of concept, which is really exciting. In some cases, you may get to have some input on what this could be. So the person that asked the question asked about healthcare and data science. If your sponsor or whoever it is that is vetting your project is able to help you design something that is applicable there, then there could potentially be an opportunity to engage in something like that. But it differs, and yeah. But that does not stop you from trying something like that on your own. There are tons and tons of open source data sets that people make available specifically for learning purposes, for education, for students who are really excited about data science and data analytics and who want to explore. And that is another way you can engage in something like that. Cool. Other questions? I see something.
On my side.
Yeah, go for it.
Cool. I see someone says, what are those regulations for the scholarship? I think this is from before.
Yes, I think I did address that in the chat, but to reiterate, scholarship applicants must be unemployed South African citizens between the ages of 18 and 34 with a matric certificate, please. This is because they are structured as learnerships, and there's a whole lot of background to this. But the whole point of the learnership system is to allow more young people to be educated and find work experience.
Another question I see is, does having an NQF level 5 affect your chances of getting a scholarship?
It depends what your NQF level 5 is. Unfortunately, if you already have the qualification that we are aligned to, you can't get it a second time. So if your NQF level 5 is the same one that we offer, unfortunately, it could affect your chances of getting a scholarship. I see a question about which one is better, data science or data engineering. I am a data scientist, and I'm going to say data engineering is better, just to cause some upheaval in the community. But the reality is, it really depends on where your interests are, how you think, how you perceive things. If you're somebody that, I'm trying to think of, like Andila said, is a process-driven thinker, right? Very technical, system-driven, has very good like programmatic thinking and logic. Data engineering might be quite suitable to you. If you're somebody who really likes problem solving and digging into the detail of data and trying to understand what insights they can get from it, then data science might be better for you. But it really does depend on who you are, what your aptitude is like, what you're good at. Personality is important as well. Yeah, there's no one or the other.
Can I add to that just from a data science perspective? So not just the curiosity of developing insights and visuals and all that, but also particularly a strong passion for maths and statistics, and that plays a role in the machine learning. Machine learning is very statistical and very mathematically involved. So if you want to join the data science course, make sure that not to say you have to have a background in it, at least just have a matric certificate, but do have a passion for these fields. So, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe another thing on that is, to be a data scientist, it's important for you to have very good communication skills. You'll often be tasked with explaining your data or your insights to people who are not very technical or don't have much knowledge around it. And so having good communication skills and being able to distill your knowledge and your thoughts in a simple way will be very, very important. Yes, go for it.
One of the things that you need to also remember, and Gabe did mention in his presentation, is that data science is a mix of skills. That is a mix of technical, some coding, but also including some domain knowledge. All right. Whereas data engineering, listen, we are living in the computer space, right? That's our domain, right? We might have a little bit of a broader knowledge around industry, but not as intensely as would be required for data science. So that is just something that you will need to be mindful of. Are you going to be somebody who is okay with just being in the data and in the tech space? Or are you going to actually want to bring in some of your domain knowledge from other industries into it? So, yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Andila. Thanks, Gabe. A question about the full-time course. What is the typical program for a week? Gabe, do you want to take that one?
Typical program for a week. Okay, cool. The way a week looks like is when you join the course, you are actually given a recommended pacing guide that lets you sort of know what to cover each day, including which tests to cover on which day, so that you are able to make submissions on time. So typically, as Joanne said, about 50 hours a week. That's about 8 to 10 hours a day. You'll see once you join, you'll be actually given content that you go through, videos, notebooks, material, additional resources. and even exams, projects to test your knowledge. But yeah, in short, there is a recommended pacing guide to help guide you along the way with what needs to be done each day.
In addition to that, you'll probably have a few webinars or workshops that you may attend. You may also have a workshop for the Thrive program. So, in that curriculum, you go through some content as you go about your technical content as well. And about once a month, there's usually a workshop to make sure that everyone's on the same page, to get people talking a little bit about what it is that their experience has been, how they're getting along on the technical program. And we try our best to have the Thrive curriculum meet you where you are in your technical learning journey. So, as you, for example, form teams and start to feel some frustration with team dynamics, then there will be a workshop around dealing with that, understanding different stages of team formation, and understanding how to manage that in a professional and healthy way, because that's a skill that's really important as you go into the workplace.
Something else came up that I thought about as well, Joe. I just want to add to
Yes.
that. So, what's also worth mentioning is, particularly for the fundamentals phase, we also believe in networking with various colleagues or your fellow peers. So, we actually divide you into what we call pods, and that's a division of anywhere between 20 to 30 students. And it gives you a chance to actually meet and greet your fellow peers, and then have discussions, games, whatever that looks like, with your facilitator. And yeah, that's particularly for the fundamentals phase. And then once you hit machine learning, the machine learning phase, then we go into smaller teams for the project-based work as well.
Cool. Thanks, Gabe. Before we answer any more questions, I do want to emphasize that with this program, whether you study data science or data engineering, whether you study full-time or part-time, what you put in is what you get out. So if you are willing to put in some effort, if you attend webinars, if you engage with your facilitators and you engage with your peers, and you really try your level best, the chances are your outcomes will be quite positive. But if you have a half-hearted attempt, unfortunately, it doesn't always turn out so well. It's easy to fall behind if you don't have your soul in the game, which is an explore value. But yeah, having your soul in the game and being committed to what it is that you're doing is really, really important to get the kinds of results that you want from studying with us. So I wanted to throw that in there before we have to end in a few minutes. If you do the data science course, will you still be able to work as a data engineer or data analyst? Andila, do you want to take that one?
Very loaded, because I did the data science course, but I'm a data engineer. But that's also partially because I've got a background in tech. So it is possible. Nothing is impossible, really, right? We're going to start you down a journey, um, and a lot of the fundamentals that you'll be using within your data science, your practical data science experience, will be skills that you can then transfer over into data engineering. There will be some, skill gap that exists, but depending on your passion, your dedication to actually deep diving, it could be something that takes you like a month, right? And during that month, you are learning about everything, and yeah, you could very well easily become one of the best data engineers out there. But it's hard.
It is hard.
Do we have time for one
Gabe,
more
go
question?
ahead. Let me just add quickly to that, right, before you go. We do teach you data science skills, but in my mind at least, and don't quote me on this, for me, that's not the most important part. The most important part is that we try to structure our program in a way that allows you to learn how to learn. So throughout the program, we give you tools and techniques, and we teach you skills, and we teach you data science specific things or data engineering specific things. But ultimately, tech is changing all the time. And if you're not able to self-learn and keep up, it's very easy to fall behind. So the intention is that when you leave us knowing how to enhance your skills yourself. And to learn new things yourself and to enhance your knowledge and build on whatever it is that you learned during your time with us. So we try our best to give you a good foundation, and we let you out into the world, hoping that you are well equipped and empowered to build on that foundation. Cool.
So just also to add on to what Joe said, so with regards to learning how to learn, it's also very important as someone in the data space to stay curious as well, because things are ever changing, and that curiosity actually helps you keep up with the changes out there. So very important characteristic to have in the data space. Do we have time for one more question?
Oh. Yeah, sure.
I think quite an important one that came up earlier was I hear that the scholarship is for unemployed applicants, but what if one is employed but planning to leave the job once or before the course starts?
That's a difficult question to answer. The short answer is that at the time of signing your contract with your sponsor and your learnership agreement, you should not be employed. If your circumstances are tricky, or you need some additional information, and this is for everyone because I think it's time for us to close off. If you need more information, if your question wasn't answered today, please direct it to the admissions email address, which I am putting in the chat, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Please allow a 24 to 48 hour turnaround time on our responses, but we will respond. And if you need more information, we will do our best to help you out. All right. Thank you, everyone who joined us live, and for anyone who watches this later on after the fact. Thank you for listening to us ramble. And we do apologize for the numerous technical difficulties that we had today. Thank you for being patient. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you all again.
Have a good one, everyone. Cheers.
Cheers, everyone. Have a good one.